I will not take moral lectures from a Prime Minister who gives his full confidence to Peter Mandelson, a man who apparently confessed to love prolific paedophile Jeffrey Epstein in now leaked emails. This was the Prime Minister on Wednesday.
Mr. Speaker, let me start by saying the victims of Epstein are the forefront of our minds. He was a despicable criminal who committed the most heinous crimes and destroyed the lives of so many women and girls. The Ambassador has repeatedly expressed his deep regret for his association with him. He's right to do so. I have confidence in him, and he's playing an important role in the UK-US relationship.
Well, I don't have confidence in Keir Starmer, frankly. The Unite the Kingdom rally, as predicted, has been slandered by the Prime Minister, who has, in my opinion, called the rally a racist march in all but name. In a statement today, the Prime Minister has said this: Britain will not surrender its flag to those that wish to use it as a symbol of violence, fear and division. The Prime Minister said the flag represents our diverse country, and he will not allow people to feel intimidated on our streets because of their background or the colour of their skin. Well, that's not the event I attended, Prime Minister. I wonder if the black, brown and Asian people I spoke to at the event felt intimidated. Well, as usual, because the Prime Minister is so out of touch, he'd have more in common with an alien species. He's probably taking his marching orders from his chief advisor, Morgan McSweeney, who thought for a while that Peter Mandelson's support for a prolific paedophile was not grounds for resignation. This two-tier governance is exactly the kind of divisiveness that has caused the breakdown in our societies. These politicians are completely responsible and totally to blame for it. Let's take Carnival as an example. Sadiq Khan paused tributes to the Carnival, claiming the streets were alive with music and joy, showing the best of our city and the power of our culture to unite us. Meanwhile, 167 arrests for drug offences, 50 for a possession of offensive weapons, 21 for sexual offences, 4 for violence with injury and 49 for other violence, 55 arrests for assaults on police officers and a proactive major police operation with 100 people arrested, as well as the seizure of 11 firearms and more than 40 knives. But when it comes to the Unite the Kingdom rally, 25 arrests, and Sadiq Khan says violence and attacking officers is completely unacceptable. Well, of course, we all agree with that, but look at the hypocrisy. Look at it. Back in 2020, Keir Starmer tweeted that Notting Hill Carnival started as a defiant response to the racist violence black people were subjected to in the 1950s. Today, it is an important celebration of black Caribbean culture and our country's diversity. But when mostly, not entirely, white British people go out to protest, well, they're intimidating people of colour, aren't they? Let's not forget, they're far-right thugs. That podium moment, yes, of course, nothing of the like from Keir Starmer when it came to the Hare Hills race riots. Complete crickets from our hypocrite-in-chief. It all stinks. It does. It stinks of the kind of hypocrisy, the kind of divisiveness that has led to the breakdown of trust between the government and the people of this country. And let's get real. If politicians like Starmer hadn't spent their entire careers dividing people, these rallies wouldn't have had to exist in the first place. I will not take lectures from a morally bankrupt hypocrite like the Prime Minister. Let's get our thoughts on the panel here. Political commentator Chloe Dobbs, GB News contributor Will Kingston, and former Labour Minister Bill Rammell. Will, I want to start with you. I saw this rally. You would have seen the footage. I think everyone's seen it now. I was there. And for people to be slandered by the left as fascists, these are children, women, people of all colour, all religions, barely ever mentioning the name Tommy Robinson. Most of them are just concerned people about our country, wanted to go out and wave the flag because they're so fed up with all the Palestine marches. It's just two-tier, isn't it? It's two-tier hypocrisy.
Well, I think the fascist term, the far-right term, the Nazi term, the racist term, they don't have any meaning anymore. They've been taken by the left and used to describe people they disagree with. And as a result of that, I don't actually think that holds much currency. Look, in a rally of hundreds of thousands of people, there are going to be good people and bad people. It doesn't matter what the cause is. The way that you have to then look at it is, what was the purpose of it? And B, what did the overwhelming majority of people do and think? And in this instance, the purpose was to demonstrate patriotism and to show to show concerns about the future of the country, mainly around free speech and mass migration. The problem is the media and Labor politicians usually focus on the minority in a rally like this, and they'll focus on the overwhelming majority when it comes to a rally like Black Lives Matter. That is the difference, and it's all about spinning a narrative.
Yeah, Chloe, this is the problem I've got with it. It's the hypocrisy. It's the two-tier attitude. When you look at the carnage at Carnival, 400 and so arrests, the Palestine Action Race, 800 arrests, they don't get mentions from Sadiq Khan. They don't get mentions from cabinet ministers, but they do get mentioned when it's 25 arrests and skirmishes with the police, when there were hundreds of thousands of people there. Why is that?
And when those arrests had been mentioned in, for example, the Met Police statements after the Notting Hill Carnival, in the BBC reporting on it and whatnot, it was done in a way saying, oh, it's been such a wonderful day, and inevitably there are a few skirmishes and this many people being arrested. Whereas in this case, it's you've got hundreds of thousands of people there and only 25. Yes, there may be some more arrests after the Met Police do their investigations, but that is a tiny number in comparison. And my understanding is that there were mistakes made by the police. They didn't anticipate exactly how many people were going to turn up. There was some miscommunication. They were kettled to where the stand up to racism lot were. Some things did kick off, but to tarnish all of those people, as you said, this was like a family day out for a lot of people, lots of women and children there. To tarnish all of them, I think just exacerbates the problem. But you've got to think about, Keir Starmer needs to think about, why were those people there in the first place? They are there because they feel like they haven't been listened to by their politicians. When that politician who has refused to listen to them for years and years then responds, basically tarnishing all of them as some sort of thugs, it just makes people feel more frustrated that nobody's listening.
Yeah, and Bill, this is the problem I've got with it. I called this out last night. I said anyone who's committing an act of violence at any of these events is shameful, absolutely shameful. You discredit the thousands of other people that were there peacefully protesting. Now, the issue I've got with the Prime Minister and some of the cabinet ministers on the back of this, Bill, is that they don't call it out when it's on their side. And I say their side, I mean on left-leaning politics. They don't call it out. They sit idly by while it happens. And this is the issue. Sadiq Khan, of course, a relatively okay tweet overall, but he didn't say that about Carnival. There was hundreds of arrests at Carnival. He never mentioned them one time. And this is the issue people have got. And when you look back at past prime ministers, my issue is you even compare Tony Blair, David Cameron to Keir Starmer. They didn't make these kind of divisive tweets and these divisive messages. They treated people the same, despite their difference in politics. Are we just moving away from that because politics are so divided now?
No, I mean, one, it's not accurate to say that Labour politicians and the Prime Minister haven't called out violent, aggressive, left-wing agitators, people wearing masks, wholly wrong in demonstrations. They've done that. And look, I acknowledge the vast majority of people on this march were peaceful. I disagree with them, but they were peaceful and they have a right to protest. But they have to take account of who they are associating themselves with. And this was a march organised by Tommy Robinson, who's a vile, violent extremist. He's been arrested and imprisoned on numerous occasions. He's a former soccer hooligan, former member of the British National Party, former founding member of the English Defence League, which was founded by soccer hooligans. He's joined a neo-Nazi group in Germany, and that contributes to a minority promoting and committing acts of violence, and they were serious acts of violence. But actually, the bit that I had most concerned about was the contribution from Elon Musk, which was deliberately inciting violence. And let me quote to you what he said. "Violence is going to come to you. You will have no choice. Fight back or die." That kind of tone, that kind of communication at that march is abhorrent and is wrong.
Which one of Tommy Robinson's views do you find extreme?
All sorts of his views. The fact that he's been a member of the British National Party.
The specific view, the specific policy or worldview.
His demonisation of people from Muslim communities, his promotion of violence, which the march as a whole and that interview with Musk was doing. I've got deep concerns about that.
There is no evidence that he has demonised Muslim people. He has raised legitimate concerns about some Islamic subcultures in this country, particularly around the grooming gang scandal. And you can make the argument that he did more than many other people, if not anyone, to bring that to the forefront of public debate. I don't think I've heard anything to say that he's an extremist.
So, Will, you're standing up and associating yourself with Tommy Robinson. Even Nigel Farage opposes and distances himself
I
from
don't
Tommy
think that's
Robinson.
what Will's doing, just to be clear. I think Will is saying we need to point to specific examples. If we're going to call stuff... And I think we look at the Charlie Kirk situation, we look at the rhetoric, right? And we look at how we frame somebody. We must give examples, I think, Bill, to be fair. If we're going to...
The specific example, engaging with Elon Musk and saying violence is going to come to you, you will have no choice. You have to
Tommy
fight
Robinson
back or
didn't
don't.
say that.
He was interviewing the guy.
If engaging with Elon Musk...
I might interview people that say abhorrent things.
And he was promoting the guy.
But
he
you could make
applauded
that
him.
argument about me, Bill. I could sit here and I could speak to some people like... in fact, I sat with a communist here who told me most abhorrent things.
Robinson was applauding Musk.
OK, I want to bring Chloe in because she hasn't said anything. Go on, Chloe.
A couple of points. So first of all, on Tommy Robinson's concerns about Islam and whatnot, what I would say is that he's been proven right about a lot of his concerns, but it's often very difficult to associate with him because he expresses himself in a more sort of inflammatory, shouty, sweary matter, which I don't think will bring across people who are, maybe in the middle ground. But second of all, with what Elon Musk said, I do think that it was sloppy language, but I don't think that
sloppy language?
I don't think that was...
It was an incitement to violence.
I don't think that was some sort of call to arms. I think what he was saying is warning is the left will continue to be violent if you allow them to be. And when he said fight back, I think he meant, we can't sort of stand down, allow them to just cause fascists and do nothing. And I don't mean a response with violence, I mean response with words. But he could have worded that a lot better.
Will, final word to you because we've got to go shortly. Look, I really wanted this debate to talk about hypocrisy in politicians because I think that's what really angers the public. They don't mind if you are fair and you have a hard when there's political violence or there's acts of violence against the police. They don't mind, right, when you come down fairly. But my whole point of this whole rant tonight is because I think there are hypocrisies. There's two-tier ways of treating people in society, and I don't like that. I think that causes division.
Well, the reason we haven't got to that is because Bill didn't have an answer to that. It is incontrovertible that there are two different approaches on this, and that is because that the left-leaning media and left-wing politicians in this country have a particular worldview that they need to keep spinning, and they want to make sure...
And Will, you and everyone on GB News has a particular worldview which is far apart from the reality.
Well, I think the ratings on this channel would say differently.
All right, well, there we go. Moving on, because